Alrighty, guys, we are live. Hopefully, you can hear me loud and clear. Want to welcome you back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Going to be talking about Abby and Libby's case out of Delphi. This may be a quick stream. It may not be. I'm not exactly sure. Just some ideas I wanted to run by you guys. How many of you have seen the movie Hard Candy? With Patrick Wilson, Ellen Page. Good to see you, brown eyed girl. Welcome in. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, April 17th. And it's getting hot, at least over here. Miss Dog Lover, CJK, Jill Moser, Riot, what's up? Beth, always good to see you. Rescue all the dogs. Ryan Jagger, what's up? Yikes. Working in the office. Have a great day today, CJK. Check out that mop of hair. Looks curly, too. Good to see you, Barb. Beth, never seen it. I've never seen it either. So let's give a shout out to Tattoo. I believe she was the first one to bring it to my attention. Let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, so in the members only Discord, Tattoo posted this. Now, this was shortly after we went live with all of the trial exhibits, and we got a real good look at Richard Allen's Google search while he was logged into foodjacka0 at gmail.com. And I think the searches are from 2020 up until just before he was arrested. So Tattoo says here, bet you this is the movie Rick was trying to look up on one of his searches. Watch it. It's kind of crazy. So I took a look at it. This movie is twisted. Very twisted. So I wanted to read the description of the movie and go through it. And I want you guys to tell me if there's anything interesting there, anything I'm missing, if there's anything to what the things that I found. Because there's a lot here, in my opinion. It's also interesting if you look at the thumbnail, the date there, October 2nd, 2022. I mean, that's just, I think it's 11 days before he was interrogated. And he searched a movie about a man being held against his will. And then within 2 minutes, a man held hostage by teen. And you guys got to forgive me. I have a house full of sick people right now. Had one kid stay home from school yesterday, and then one today, and then pretty sure I'm they got me sick too. No, Good to see you, Miss Dog Lover. All right, everybody says nope, not Tam B. What's up? Good to see you. Periwinkle, hello. Blind Squirrel, it's always good to see you. Welcome in, Tony N. So disturbing, and look what became of the actress that played the kid. Yikes. I haven't seen the movie completely. I watched the trailer. I watched like the top rated scenes on YouTube. Some pretty disturbing things. Tony says demonic. Yeah, it definitely got some very dark vibes from the movie. Yeah, I won't lie about that. Definitely not the movie I lay down at night and go, hey babe, you want to watch Hard Candy? Like this is you got to be into that kind of shit. You got to be like into that horror porn, I think is what they call it. Horrorcore. Or gore porn. Something like that. Gory movies. You got to be into that. Brown eyed girl, I'm sick again myself. Ugh, this year has been rough. For me, it's the allergies. You know, they come in there and then I think it all starts there. Or it just adds to it. I can't tell. Hey, Leslie, Cyber Warrior, what's up? All right, let's dive right into this. Let's see. So I pulled up Hard Candy on Wikipedia. Let me know if anything stands out to you. Barb, if I watch it, will my phone be flagged and make me a suspect in some kind of crime? Because now I'm curious and want to watch it. See, I felt like the Google searches were meaningless. You know, I felt there was nothing of substance there whatsoever. You know what I mean? They didn't find anything. So what if he's looking up, crazy movies? Maybe he's in the mood to watch something crazy. A lot of people do that. But if we take a closer look, are we going to find anything? And that's what today's video was all about. Why is he looking up this movie, Hard Candy, about a guy who meets a girl online, a 14-year-old girl online? She knows he's a predator, turns the tables on him, where she becomes the hunter and he becomes the hunted. Why is Richard Allen looking up this extremely disturbing movie where this young girl castrates the predator or the villain? Why is Richard Allen looking up this movie 11 days before he's sitting in an interrogation room with Tony Leggett and Mullen? I don't know. I get incel school shooter vibes from Richard Allen. I don't know about you. Emphysema and asthma. Sorry to hear that, brown eyed girl. Asthma is no joke. I had a friend who lost his daughter to asthma in her sleep. So you take care of yourself. Riot, is it streaming anywhere? That I don't know. If you Google it, just ask, where can I watch Hard Candy? It'll tell you. But if you want to go see the trailer and a bunch of the scenes, the most of the scenes anyway, I watched a big portion of the movie just on YouTube. It's a pedo movie. Yeah, it's basically about this pedophile photographer, right? Keegan Kline. I mean, it's really weird, guys. So it's like this pedophile photographer who is targeting specific girls online, 14-year-olds, specifically targeting 14-year-old girls, grooming them, luring them. And then I think along with another killer, you can't make this up, guys, along with a secondary killer, they lure these girls into his home, take photos of them, and then murder them. Well, in this case, this young girl kind of uses herself as bait. Hey, what's up? Real chill Graws. I watched that movie. Patrick Wilson is a good actor. Yeah, he's pretty good. It's something about his facial expressions and his timing is pretty good. Plus, he just kind of looks like a movie star. What's going on, Lulu? Pretty disturbing. Anyone chose to act in that. Grunge Truck, what's going on? It was a good movie. Because Richard Allen is a sick SOB. He fantasized about revenge being done against him, guilt, or something sicker. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Well, this movie came out in 2005, so I'm wondering if this is where he got the idea about it. Like he kind of fantasized about this. Um, Let me catch up on the chat, and then I'll go ahead and explain exactly what this movie is, and then you'll see why I'm making the comparisons that I am. He's a freak. Surprised he didn't look up The Professional. That's a great movie. Professional is really good. Oh shit. Let's see. Somebody looks like Frank posted something about Allen County Chief Public Defender William Labredo, who publicly voiced his support for Rick Allen's innocence after he was temporarily assigned to defend him, was viciously attacked yesterday in northern Indiana. What the?
31302. Hey, you might want to come over here. This is the chief public defender of Allen County that got the ever living crap beat out of him.
Temple? Oh, shit. This one is looks like from Sleuthy Goosey. This must be from X. And now this. What is going on in Indiana? The chief public defender of Allen County is William Labredo, who briefly represented Richard Allen and did an interview with Barbara McDonald and saying Rick didn't have anything to do with the murders and that one girl was sacrificed. Oh, so they're trying to tie him being assaulted to Richard Allen. Damn. It's desperate. Damn, I feel bad for William Labredo. Hope for a speedy recovery. Yeah, he represented Richard Allen, so he's going to have to say he's innocent, especially when the trial hasn't even started yet. Like, come on, Sleuthy. I mean, just be fair. That's all we ask. Just be fair. It's not that hard. All right, so let's get back to this. Mary, what's up? He was thinking he's clever by reversing the roles, as he probably was thinking internet searches may be flagged by FBI. Just a thought. You can peep that. Tubi, Pluto, Prime, Roku. Get your apps up, bro. Do you even max? Hat Terrifier. Ah, that clown. Yeah, I did look up that movie a few times, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it. It's better to watch those movies on like YouTube. Just watch like the crazy scenes. I'm more a documentary guy these days, to be honest. She messes with his head until he ends himself. Well, she forces him. She like makes a deal with him, like, hey, if you take your own life, I'll hide all your evidence. I'll hide all the evidence that you're a predator. Cyber Warrior says Patrick Wilson is a great actor. He's great. Insidious series and Fargo was so good. Fargo, I love Fargo. Another twisted movie. The TV series Tony, not movie, and just the second season. Plays into his fantasy somehow, I'm sure. There you go, Dark Side. There you go. Remember, this movie came out in 2005. So Delphi was his hard candy fantasy. Welcome in. Nicely done. Power control offenders fantasize themselves as victims. Well, usually with psychopathy, that's the case, right? Somehow they're always the victim, and there's the manipulation and the gaslighting that comes along with it. Um, and this is coming directly from a college dropout. So make sure you're taking notes. BTK would dress up and tie himself up. Several others do similar things. Bondage. Welcome in Diane Smith. Yeah, she mentions that in the movie. She says, "You don't look like somebody that's needs to use the internet to meet people." And he responds, "Well, I think it's a good way to meet people because then you find out who they are on the inside before you meet them." Obviously, grooming, right? Okay, we're all caught up. Okay, Hard Candy, the film, is a 2005 American psychological thriller film focusing on a 14-year-old female vigilante's trapping and torture of a man whom she suspects of being a sexual predator. The film was directed by David Slade, written by Brian Nelson, and stars Patrick Wilson and Elliot Page. It was the first feature film for Slade, who had primarily directed music videos. Hard Candy premiered at the 2005 Sundance Film Festival and was screened at the Florida Film Festival in April 2006. It had a limited release in 2 theaters in the United States. The film made over $8 million at the box office, including $1 million domestically on a budget of under $1 million. Hard Candy won 3 awards at the 2005 Sitges Film Festival, 4 awards at the Malaga Film Festival, and was also awarded Overlooked Film of the Year at the 2006 Phoenix Film Critics Society Awards. Page won Best Actress at 2006 Austin Film Critics Association Awards. Yeah, I do. I like to watch Michael Myers movies during Halloween. Good to see you, Fishy. Rescue says shout out to the college dropouts. College dropouts, assemble! Stupid is as stupid does. All right, let's go into the plot. Hey, mistress, welcome in. Could you imagine if defense actually did any of their own investigation and looked into that email? Well, this poor Libredo just got beat up, and before anybody even looks into it, they're like, it's because he was supporting the Odinism theory. It's like they're not even embarrassed to say it. They're not even embarrassed anymore. That's when it gets scary. All right, here's the plot. 14-year-old Haley Stark. Didn't we hear that name somewhere, Haley? Wasn't that like one of somebody that Richard Allen, or excuse me, Kagan Klein was talking to? Somebody by the name of Haley? Or was that Hannah? 14-year-old Haley Stark and 32-year-old photographer Jeff Culver engage in a sexually charged, flirtatious online chat. They then meet at a coffee house before going to Jeff's home. When they arrive, Jeff makes them drinks, but Haley refuses by saying she was taught never to take a drink she has not mixed herself. Haley goes to the kitchen and makes them both screwdrivers. As Jeff shows her around his house, she notes the photographs hung on his walls. Here, let me play a couple clips for you. That might help. Okay, so you have that aspect of it all, right? You know, the Anthony Shots stuff. Like, what the hell? Here, let's look at this one here.
Jeff?
Haley?
You just don't really look like the kind of guy who has to meet girls over the internet.
Yikes. Yeah, and I do feel for them. I mean, it's going to be hard to defend a guilty person, you know. It's an uphill battle for sure. You think if he had an alibi, that would be the case there. We're just going to focus on your alibi, Richard Allen, okay? Right? That's going to be our defense. We're going to highlight it, and we're going to show them that you were over here while the murder was taking place over there, because it's clear as day, and we're going to show it to the jury. Is that okay with you, Richard Allen? What was my alibi? Do I have an alibi? Well, that's my next question. Ricky, where were you, buddy? I think I have a few more.
Just so good. Do you want some?
Sure. You look older than you are. You certainly act older than you are.
Really?
So you can kind of see where that's going.
Sister, tell her where you'll be.
Maybe later.
Okay, so Haley goes to the kitchen and makes them both screwdrivers. As Jeff shows her around his house, she notes the photographs hung on his walls, all of which seem to be underage, half-clothed girls. Who does that sound like? Haley asks Jeff to photograph her. He gets out his camera and Haley begins to pose. But before Jeff can take any photos, he loses consciousness. So he told her, right? Or she told him, never trust anybody. Don't take a drink from somebody that you didn't mix yourself. When Jeff wakes, he is bound to a desk chair. Haley explained she has been tracking and baiting him through online chats and drugged him because she believes he is a sexual predator and murderer. Jeff denies these allegations, claiming he had innocent intentions. Haley searches Jeff's house and finds a gun and a safe. In the safe, Haley finds pictures including a photo of Donna Moyer, a local girl who had been kidnapped and remains missing. Jeff continues to deny the accusations and kicks Haley to the ground, temporarily knocking her out. He rolls the chair into his bedroom and manages to retrieve his gun, which Haley left out on his bed. He returns to the living room to see that Haley is no longer there. She comes up from behind him and wraps his face in plastic wrap, choking him unconscious. Looking at fish. I think the internet just kind of personifies it. It's a tool. You know, humans are great at using tools to accomplish their goals. You know, the internet is just a tool. It's a very powerful tool. You know, technology in general is a great tool. That's why when it comes to online predators, you have to realize they're so advanced. Like they're probably beginning to hack people's televisions at this point. You know what I mean? Just spying on people through their TVs and shit. And by the time we figure it out, you know, they're already on to the next thing. Fucking spying on us through our refrigerators or something. Through our vacuums, our smart vacuums. What's up, Candace P? His wife told Holman in front of Rick that she would take a polygraph. Well, she's already told everything that she knows. I don't think there's anything more. She went to work. She shouldn't know anything, right? She wakes up early in the morning at about 6, goes to work, gets off at 5:30, comes home, Rick's asleep on the couch. Everything of significance happened the time that she was away. So of course she's going to take a lie detector test. She doesn't know anything. And everything that she did know, like him saying that he wasn't on the bridge, she said it. The people that I want to hear from are the people that he was with in Peru, his mother. I want to know why he was in Peru and if he stayed the night in Peru. And why did he drive to Peru just to drive right back? It's kind of interesting that his defense team didn't bring any of that up at all. Like, we still don't know. Crazy. What's up, Don Spain? Candace, good to see you. The Crush, that's a great movie. Wait, is that the Mark Wahlberg movie? Where he's like, let me in the fucking house. He's like screaming through the peephole. Yeah, that was pretty good. He was quite the photographer. 4, what's up? I thought Kathy was out of town at her mother's because her brother was killed. No, they were. That's what they were helping to take care of Kathy's mother on and off. They weren't living there. It was a few days out of the week. So that's why I'm wondering if maybe he stayed the night. But Kathy was at work that day. She worked at a veterinarian clinic in Delphi, kind of on the outskirts of town, near Bicycle Bridge Road. And that's where they served the first search warrant. Welcome in, Tracy. Tracy Kramer. Shout out to the UK. All right, let's get back to this hard candy here. When Jeff wakes, he finds himself bound to a steel table with a bag of ice on his genitals, making them numb. Haley tells him that she intends to castrate him. Jeff attempts to dissuade her, including by telling her he was abused as a child in a play for sympathy, but fails. Haley consults a medical book to guide her through the procedure, describing it to Jeff as she performs the operation. Once it is finished, Haley puts down the scalpel and puts something appearing to be testicles in the kitchen sink garbage disposal. She turns it on and walks away saying she needs a shower. Yikes.
Something stupid to impress a girl? Does that deserve being tied up and tortured?
Asked my friend if she'd help me castrate a guy, and, well, she made all these, like, ooky sounds, like I was asking her to swallow worms or something. Okay, halfway through, over the hump.
Can't you stop?
It's so juicy. It needs its own little cubby hole.
47530. Never dial numbers anymore. You don't. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. And how long have you had that phone number?
Oh, sorry, guys. Let me go back. I didn't realize you weren't on the screen.
Something stupid to impress a girl? Does that deserve being tied up and tortured?
Asked my friend if she'd help me castrate a guy, and, well, she made all these, like, ooky sounds, like I was asking her to swallow worms or something. Okay, halfway through, over the hump.
Can't you stop?
It's so juicy. It needs its own little cubby hole.
So I thought that was interesting too. She's like, I can't find any porn. I can't find any CSAM or anything around here. Basically saying, well, you must have a cubby hole for this, a hiding spot. I wonder if the same thing is true for Richard Allen. Welcome in. Strange exchange. Hard candy was quality. The girl getting revenge on the pedal. Yeah, that's the satisfying part of it. That's what makes this whole movie twisted, you know? Because part of you, there's a satisfaction there. But then again, it's like a vigilante justice and torture, you know? The lack of humanity is the most disturbing part of it all. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. All right, so we're almost finished with the plot here. Haley calls Jeff's ex-girlfriend Janelle and, posing as a police officer, asks her to come immediately to Jeff's house. Jeff regains consciousness to find that Haley has bound his wrist and hoisted him to stand on a chair in his kitchen with a noose around his neck. Haley makes Jeff an offer. If he kills himself, she promises to erase the evidence of his crimes, but if he refuses, she will expose his secrets. The conversation is interrupted when a neighbor knocks on the front door, selling Girl Scout cookies. When Haley returns, Jeff breaks from the bindings and pursues her to the roof of his house. Haley has brought her rope from the kitchen and fashioned it into a noose secured to the chimney. Haley keeps Jeff at bay with his gun. And there's the gun. So weird. Jeff confesses that he watched while another man raped and murdered Moyer. Jeff promises Haley that if she spares his life, he will tell her the other man's name so she can exact her revenge. Haley reveals that she already knows his name, Aaron. and that Aaron said Jeff did it before he killed himself. Janelle arrives, and Haley once again urges Jeff to hang himself, promising that she will destroy the evidence. Defeated, Jeff lets Haley slide the noose around his neck, steps off the roof. After he falls, Haley says, or not, then gathers her belongings and walks away through the woods. And that's the movie Hard Candy. Does it matter? Right? Who cares? Well, I think this is the movie that Richard Allen was looking up, right? So I think he cares. The better question is why? Just a coincidence, maybe? The most fucked up thing to watch on Netflix. Deeply disturbing and terrifying movies. I found it interesting, though, here, May of 2022, the year that he was arrested, right? He searched for Texas elementary school shooting suspect. And remember, we talked about getting those incel school shooter vibes from Richard Allen. Somewhat, maybe he was planning something. Maybe he was getting back into it, you know? Like, hey, I got away with this for 6 years. Maybe I can start getting back into my sick shit now. What happened to that hole a bottle cap could barely fit through? What's up, Boneless? Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. What's up, Charles? Yeah, the like button's like right there. See it? Just take your mouse over a little bit and click it. Or the dislike button, whatever. Why do these horrible people always blame the movies? Well, it's not that they blame the movies. They blame everything. You know, there's always an excuse. And then once they run out of excuses, then they minimize their involvement. Everything is like a negotiation. Yeah, he remembered the movie, but not the name of it. What is the most disturbing movie ever? Probably Hard Candy. And what the hell is all this right here? What's UTC? Is that mountain? Or is that standard? General? I don't know what that is. I'm having a brain fart. But I wonder what this is here. Like, why would they block that out? What's up, Love Bomb? Anna, welcome in. I think its importance would have to be dependent upon viewing habits over a long time. If a person likes horror films in general, nothing unusual watching something like Hard Candy. No, because it would be, if you're into horror movies, that's definitely one of the movies you want to watch because it's extremely disturbing. I mean, what's worse than a guy getting castrated? But what does it mean to Richard Allen and the fact that it's a 14-year-old girl that's doing it? Was he hoping that Abby and Libby were they on to him? You know, were they hoping to set a trap? You know, we're going to get this guy on film and then we're going to turn him in. Like, we're going to tell everybody that you're an online predator. And he's like, that's kind of what I wanted you to say. Serbian film? I don't think I've seen that one either, Tracy. The most insidious thing I can watch. Like, why use that word? And then, isn't that the same actor from Insidious? Yeah, necessary. That's a good point. Like, maybe it's not disturbing enough. We heard Ted Bundy talk about porn, right? He said, yeah, I got into porn and then it wasn't enough. I needed to watch violent porn. And then once I got desensitized to that, I had to go even further and I had to see real violent porn with people actually suffering. And then he said he sought out snuff film. I'm sure Rex Heuermann did too. I think there's evidence of that. So maybe Richard Allen didn't have the knowledge or the know-how to search something like that online. You'd have to go to the dark web or have some kind of connections, you know, deep into the criminal underworld for shit like that. But he could always make it himself. You know, he can always direct his own movie. Oh, thank you nicely. Yes, Universal Time. Hello. Thank you. Actually, that was long rumored. If he's typing all of that, how is he not looking for gore or shock sites? And did he have a secondary phone? And what's crazy, he's looking up school shooters and then he's also looking up a shooting range. Like, what was you know, what's he thinking? And applied ballistics? Like, what the fuck? The Applied Ballistics Mobile Lab utilizes a freestanding mobile Doppler radar system to determine a custom drag curve for any conventional small arms weapon. Is he trying to snipe somebody? He's literally planning on fucking shooting somebody, it looks like. So, applied ballistics refers to long range shooting, apparently. Looking for accurate elevation and windage solutions. So, what the hell? Did he even have a rifle? I don't think he had a rifle. But it's interesting that he's looking up viewed applied ballistics, searched for shooting ranges near me. Let's see, what day was that? Shooting range, May 11th, May 2021. Wow. Almost exactly a year later. Almost to the date. May 24th, 2022. He's looking up Texas elementary school shooting suspect. Didn't they find a bunch of Sandy Hook shit on Kagan Klein's phones too? Remember, he was looking up the Sandy Hook victims? So he's looking up shooting ranges, applied ballistics, and then exactly 1 year later, he's looking up just deeply disturbing and terrifying movies. And the Texas elementary school shooting. Yeah, could mean nothing. Hostel is a really gory movie. I've seen that movie a couple times. That I don't know, Tracy. I know that he printed Liberty's funeral photos for free. When the family came to pick him up, he said, it's on the house. Which is a little strange, right? It's like, why is he even thinking about it? Like, why would he even think it's on the house? Necrophilia, incest, gore, etc. Yeah, we talked about it. Thanks for sharing that in the Discord. So William Libreto was attacked. It looks like violently assaulted. And the Richard Allen fan club is already trying to tie that horrible tragedy into their cause with no evidence, just like they did with Ferenczi. No disregard for people, just their cult, and furthering that movement. It's disgusting. Should I die now? Right in between Gore and Delphi. And he kind of mimics that while he was locked up in jail, right? Talking about taking his own life. Should I take my own life? So it's the Fujaka, and that should be a 0 right there. Created. Okay. What's interesting is that he created this about a year after the murders. I wonder what email address he was using at that time. You know, I feel like he waited a year. Like he's like, okay, I waited a year from when I began grooming the girls along with the Kleins. And I'm a free man. They don't have, I'm free. It's time to get back online. And then he picks Fujaka. Go look that up on the Urban Dictionary if you'd like to. It's another disgusting thing. And the thing is, when you search Delphi, Indiana, you know what pops up? The Delphi murders. Every time. And that's unfortunate for them, you know. The stigma that he placed on that small little town is not cool. Because it is really cute. It looks like a really fun place to live. Has its problems, just like anywhere else, right? You put a microscope over anybody's town, you're going to find all the crackheads and predators, online pedophiles. Trust me, 1 out of 10, guys. Yep, he had a hunting license, that's for sure. Never thought about it, but I think you guys are right. Total incel shooter type. Well, those are the vibes I'm getting. And the way he's weird with his wife. Yeah, it's just really strange. Providers to determine all the devices that have connected to their Wi-Fi. Remember, KK was able to hide a device. Exactly, and the fact that they were using Snapchat made it even easier to hide things. But the truth is, these guys were doing more on these little apps like Meet Me, and I don't know anything about those apps. That's where they're doing most of their bidding and most of their work is through the device and not the home computer. That's how they're operating because they're using burner phones. They're smart enough to get rid of them. And then we just walk around like that shit. Criminals don't think like that. Oh, how do you know that he had a burner phone? He fucking did. They all do. But that's where they're most of the activity is happening through apps like Meet Me and things like that. That's why they're using Snapchat. So they meet their victims on Facebook and Instagram. And then they tell them, "Hey, I need you to come over here to Snapchat or to Meet Me where they can conceal everything that they're about to do." It's a very long, drawn out process. Okay, so searching for a movie about a man being held against his will. Man held hostage by teen. Stalker 2012. What's that movie about? Let's see. Stalker. All right. Plot to Stalker. Oliver Nolan. A volatile homeless man wanders the streets of Dublin City during the Christmas period. After an unusual encounter with an evangelist, Oliver believes he is sent. Hold on. Ooh, sorry, I was sneezing. Oliver believes he is sent on a mission from God to clean up society. When he saves a disaffected young boy named Tommy from some local bullies, an unlikely friendship is formed. Oliver soon learns that Tommy's mother is an addict and his uncle Rudyard is a local drug dealer and takes it upon himself to get even with Rudyard and his gang of petty criminals for taking advantage of his only friend Tommy. Yeah, it's a good question. Why does he go from all of this? I think we looked up the killing of a sacred deer. This one actually looks pretty good. I think, if I remember correctly. So interesting. Killing of a Sacred Deer is a 2017 absurdist psychological horror thriller film directed and co-produced by Yorgos Lanthimos, who also co-wrote screenplay with Efthimis Filippo. It stars Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Barry Keoghan, Raffi Cassidy, Sonny Suljic, Alicia Silverstone. I like Alicia Silverstone. And Bill Camp. It follows a cardiac surgeon who introduces his family to a teenage boy with a connection to his past, after which they mysteriously begin to fall ill. The film had its world premiere at the 70th Cannes Film Festival on May 22nd, 2017. Where have I seen that date? May 22nd. It was theatrically released in Ireland and the United Kingdom. Let's go to the plot. After performing an open heart surgery, Stephen Murphy, a cardiothoracic surgeon in Cincinnati, meets 16-year-old Martin Lang, whose father died a few years earlier in a diner. Stephen goes home to his wife Anna and their children Kim and Bob. Stephen invites Martin to meet his family, and Martin gets along with everyone, especially Kim, that night. Martin invites Stephen to his house for dinner the next day. At Martin's house after dinner, Martin goes to bed, leaving Stephen alone with his mother. Martin's mother begins flirting with Stephen, and he leaves. Martin visits Stephen's office complaining of chest pain, but tests show nothing wrong. Oh, this shit's long-winded. Bob begins bleeding from his eyes, so basically it looks like they get poisoned. So May 27th, 2020, visited Delphi murders, 1.2 million to restore the Monon High Bridge Trail. Remember, Richard Allen mentioned Dan McCain during his interview. He mentioned the shack and Dan McCain. Dan McCain was there that day. Not saying he was involved. It might be ridiculous to think that, but I mean, that has to be said, right? David McCain testified to being there also. He said from 2 to 4. 2 to 4. The girls were kidnapped at 2. Muddy and Bloody Guy was seen at 4. Richard Allen says the name Dan McCain during his interview, and also mentions working on the trails and the shack that they specifically took down, I believe in 2012, I think it was. Right down the 505 trail. Just below that bench. So if you're walking, let's say you park at the Mears lot and you start walking towards the trails, you're going to see this bench. Now you can go towards the High Bridge or you can go down towards the creek, down a 505 trail. Well, down the 505 trail, that property used to belong to the McCains. And there used to be this really old barn. And for whatever reason, they tore it down. It was a historical barn. It looked like maybe the McCains were using it for storage. But for whatever reason, they took it down, and Richard Allen helped. But anyway, let's go ahead and catch up on the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Who seems like he got a new device and ditched his old email? That's what I'm thinking too. Nicely done. He has another email address, rick2045@frontier.com. He used 2045. So he put 2045 in his email address, and that's also his password to his phone was 2045. I don't know what it means. Could just be, something easy to remember. What's going on, Mark? Good to see you. Sir Evil says, a food jack is a clown or an idiot. It has other meanings too. Yeah, WhatsApp. But for Keegan Klein, a lot of it was on Meet Me. Yeah, they were public. Nicely done. Teen or teens? Teen. The movie Hard Candy. Well, he searched teen, man held hostage by teen, man being held against his will. Definitely aligns with Hard Candy. Most of these are after. Looks like from 2020 all the way to 2022. Yeah, Grindhouse, they're pretty gory. Miranda, what's up? Flexing on them. Thank you. Good to see you. Chris Canusa, welcome in. What does 2022 have to do with 2017? These searches are pretty mundane. I love thrillers too. Well, the thing is, they might be mundane, but you can't ignore things that are going to go against your own narrative or your own bias. That's when you know you're not being truthful to yourself, when you're not doing your own investigation. That's first red flag. You don't want to search for things that conform to your current belief. You need to dare to change trajectory. I dare you. Never know. Sometimes you'll find more confirmation of what you've already believed, but sometimes you end up discovering new information, takes you in a whole new direction. To thine own self be true. All right, brown-eyed girl. Take care, everybody. I do have a live stream coming up later today. Some of the things we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Harvey Weinstein just briefly. The case from Australia, Toya Cordingley. We're going to touch on some updates on the Rex Heuermann case. Rachel Marin, her killer was just convicted. And then also Jennifer Pan. So that'll be later in the day. And it will be a long one. So I'll see you guys then. Take care of yourselves. Peace.